In verse 14, it continues, Ide voscontes, and the ones grazing, tus hirus ephigon, the swine fled. Ke aningilan is tin polin, and they announced in the city. Ke is tus agrus, and in the fields. Ke exelthon idin ti esti to gegonos. So they're announcing everything that's happening, all these thousands of sheep that are killed. I can recall something that happened to me, how amazing it was. I was driving down the road when we were about 18 years old, 17 or 18 in Missouri, and we drove around in this corner, and there was this fence, and up on the hill were this thousands of turkeys. And my friend stopped, and we wanted to look at all these turkeys. And so, being a city boy, not knowing anything about animals, just to do a joke, how you're 17, you decide to make a funny thing to your friend, and I started going gobble, 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 real loud. And all of a sudden, these thousands of turkeys come flying over this hill and coming down towards the chain-link fence that we were behind. And, of course, we ran like the Dickens and jumped in the car and took off. And so here we've got 2,000 of these swine and jumping over the cliff and going down into the sea. And all the people are announcing it all over what they saw. In verse 15, Ke erchonte pros ton is soon. And they came to Jesus, these people, and are probably upset that they lost all this. Ke theorusi ton dia monizomenon, kathimenon, ke imatismenon, ke sophronunta, and viewing the demon-possessed sitting down and being dressed and in a being in a sound mind, whom they knew, ton eskikota, ton legiona, the one having the legion, ke ephovithison, and they feared. They probably weren't Jews, just people of the land, and had idols for their God, but yet they saw something that did happen, and it was fearful to them. 16. Ke diigisanto aftis I idontes, and the ones beholding to them described pos ageneto to thymonizomeno, how it happened to the one being demon-possessed. Ke peri ton hieron, and concerning the swine. In verse 17, Ke irxanto parakalin afton, apelthin apo ton orion afton, and they began to appeal to him to go forth from their borders. They didn't want any part of this. Verse 18, Ke emvantos aftu isto plion, and his stepping into the boat, parakali afton o they monis this, ina imet aftu. And the one having been demon-possessed appealed to him that he might be with him. He wanted to be with the person that delivered him from this terrible state, and loved him and wanted to be with him. O they Jesus in 19, uk afiken afton, Jesus would not allow him. Allah legi afto, he said to him, ipage is ton ikon su pros tu sus, go into your house and to your own. Ke anagilon aftis osa si o Kyrios episen, and announce to them as much as the Lord did to you. The Lord in the New Testament is the Old Testament Yahweh, God. Ke eleise say, and showed mercy on you. Verse 20, Ke apilthe, ke irxato kirison in ti decapoli, osa epiason. And he went forth and began to proclaim in the Decapolis. Remember, we saw that on the map. It's right under Gadara. As much as did. Who did? God. Remember, it says the Lord did. But Jesus did for him. Jesus, synonymous with Jehovah. Ke Pontus ethavmazon, and all marveled. So now we see that another place, I'm going to put a list of all these places that show the divinity of Jesus. Verse 21. Ke diapera santos tu isu enti to plio palin is toperen. And Jesus, having passed through in the boat again unto the other side, sinikthi oklos polis, there was gathered together a great multitude. Epafton unto him. Ke in para tin thalasin, and he was by the sea. In verse 22. Ke idhu erkate is ton archi synagogon. There comes one of the chiefs of the synagogues, where the archaeology, the chief or the head, and the synagogue, patriarch is another usage of ark, the chief of the synagogue. Onomati Iairos, Jairus. Ke idon avton, and beholding him, pipti pros tus podus avtu, he falls to his feet. Now here we have a man that's the head of the synagogue falling at the feet of Jesus, just as the man before who was unclean. Everybody's falling at his feet when they see him and they need something, just as we should be doing, I should be doing, in an unclean spirit, or in pain and suffering and agony of physical or mental. 23. Ke parakali afton pola, and he appeals to him much. Legon oti, saying that tothigatrion mu eskatos eki. My young daughter is next to the last. Eskatos, eschatology, is the word of the end times, is next to the last, meaning she's about dying. In elthon epithes, that having come, epithes afti tashiras, you should place upon her your hands. Oposothi ke zisate, so that she should be preserved. Now this word in many places in the Bibles is saved, but it's not an eternal type of a condition here, but preserved. And she should live. Ke apelthe met aftu, and he went forth with him, that is the chief priest. So off they go back. Ke ikoluthi afto oklos, polis, ke sineth livon afton. And a great multitude followed him and squeezed together on him. So here's all these people crowding, wanting to see this man who's doing these things. 25. Ke ginitis usa in risi amatos eti dodeka. And a certain woman, being with a flow of blood, amatos, hemoglobin, the blood, 12 years. A gini, a woman. So she had a flow of blood for 12 years. So she was in this Levitical unclean state all this time. Verse 26. Ke pola pathusa ipo palon iatron. And suffering much under many physicians. Iatria is a suffix, atri, for the physician. And so she was suffering much. And ke dhapanisa sata par iaftis, and having spent the things of hers, panta all, ke me then ophelithisa, and not deriving benefit, ala malon isto hieron el thusa, but rather having come to the worst. So she's spending all of her money on the medical profession, and just some very similar to what's happening today. Akusa saperi tu Isus elthusa in to oklo opisthan, and having heard concerning Jesus, having come forth among the multitude behind, ipsato tu imatiu avtu, she touched his cloak.